of course so different here. Normally a floorball game can consist of like, it could be like 20 goals, you know, a game could end 11-9 or whatever, and now all of a sudden one goal will decide everything, in case of it being an overtime winner. So it's really important to steer the game to something that favors your own team. So for an example, if you have a team that's strong on the ball, then maybe you want possession. Or if you're a stronger counterattack team, then maybe you would like to counterattack a little bit more. If you're strong in transition, so on and so forth. So we will step right into this here. Looking at, for an example, at Patrik Malmström here, moving in with the ball on his forward side. And you'll see him twisting and turning back and forth. And I know that he never decides what to do until he's actually in the situation. So I think that's a cool way of approaching it. If you're a shooter, we'll look at Dan Hartman from our semifinals against the Swedes in the last WFC. And he'll do the same thing. So he'll be walking forward, back and forehand, keeping his head up, and then deciding what to do.
Whole season club team contra, as David talked about, you know, national team, that could be a lot of points if you actually have some really good penalty takers. It could be maybe even the difference between, you know, survival or going down to another to a lower division.
Yeah, I know for an example, sorry to interrupt. I know for an example, in the NHL, in hockey, they've had seasons where they've been talking about teams that would have made it to the playoffs had they been able to win like 50% of their penalty shootouts, like teams that have lost almost every penalty shootout they had, and they were into 14 or 15 of them or something like that. And that, of course, can be huge difference for such a big business.
I have just a short reflection about the overtime. And I think it's good. And I wanted also to emphasize a little bit about what David was talking about. It should be about your team identity also, to play with your strength and so on. And my experiences from the overtime games that we have been in with Dalen, for example, we have almost always decided them with quite, I don't really know the English word, but quite different kind of goals. You know, we shoot from our own half, there touches 3 sticks on the way and bounces to a rebound, and then someone smacks it in the net or something like that. And really different kind of approach from our side, because we are a different kind of team also. Yeah.
I would maybe have I don't know if it's a question or a reflection, but for David, that, because I don't remember that well anymore, the semi-final in the last World Championship, but I really liked the way Switzerland played against Sweden and Finland. And when the game went to overtime, did, as you said, that you might go for, I don't know, more conservative, or maybe not try to get the game not to flow that much, but did, I don't know how to put it in good words, but kind of secondary thinking that, because you knew the weak points or the how you could get Sweden in trouble, did you have to think about something in the overtime so that you might still get that good chance from your team identity in the overtime, or did then the game change so that possibly Sweden didn't try that much to do certain stuff, and then probably or possibly they would like to get the game to the penalty shots? I don't know if you can get the idea. It's
yeah, I get 100% what you mean. We were thinking, well, we felt that we felt we could harm them with the ball in this, because we felt that we'd scored a couple of goals where their team got really stretched out, and they had problem in their man/zone game, because they did some things that we saw that we felt that we systematically could use. So that was what we tried to do. We didn't want to make it go into Hawaii back and forth mode, because we felt that that's been a weak point for us against them at the time. And we tried to get possession, and we tried to do some things and get them stretched out as much as possible. I also felt that we were probably underdogs when it came to the penalty shootout, but at the same time, we had prepared pretty well for it, and we'd done a lot of things that we normally wouldn't do. So And we also had Pascal Meyer being amazing in the game. So I felt that spoke for us in terms of the penalty shootout as well. So I think in a normal game against them, if it had been like in a vacuum, I would have gone harder for the win during the overtime. But the way the game played out and the things that we'd actually undertaken to be better at penalty shootouts, I didn't feel necessarily that we had to chase the win in the overtime. So we just tried to get the game to where we thought we could score the goal, which was with possession. And then they slowed it down a little bit more then. So when we didn't have the ball, it became a pretty slow overtime actually. And maybe that was something that we could have done. We could have actively chased the ball back, but we were of course afraid that we would get too long with our team and that they would beat us in a zone where we weren't comfortable.